Hi, friends. I wonder if I'm the only one who feels like the world's gone completely mad. Scientists from the University of Hawaii have decided to finish us off once and for all and have proven the obvious: stress is contagious and it spreads no worse than seasonal flu. As soon as one employee starts wrinkling with their brow and sighing dramatically within a couple of hours, the entire office turns into a gathering of people with twisted faces and hunched backs. Professor Elaine Hatfield assures us that we literally absorb other people's emotion of the way a sponge absorbs spilled coffee, and the same result is about to have a stain for life. People not only begin to think gloomily, but also look as if they have long since been filed away in the archives: the work of a sad penguin, the posture of a broken lamppost, and the gaze of "give me a vacation or I lose my mind." Men, of course, turned out to be more resilient, either because they really are less affected by other emotions or simply because they prefer not to notice anything except their own beer and football. Women with their empathy and sensitivity immediately catch this psychological cold and spread it across all floors of the office. The British Institute of Personnel and Development has called this phenomenon the plague of the 21st century. Well, that sounds fair. Instead of the Black Death, now we have grey office stress. The symptoms are the same: apathy, melancholy, and the feeling that the world is going to hell, only on a slight smaller scale. So, friends, stress less. There is so much positivity in the world. It's just that some people have forgotten how to see it. I'm not a scientist from the University of Hawaii, but I dare to suggest that persons with a positive outlook on life, in fact, those around them with the positivity no less than a stressed person spreads stress to others. Let's hope the scientists will also carry out research in these positive areas. 56-year-old Portuguese citizen Renato Barros once realized that the ordinary life of a teacher was far too boring. So he bought a rocky cliff the size of one-bedroom apartment and proudly declared it an independent state called the Kingdom of Pontinha. Naturally, he appointed himself King Renato I. His empire consists of 4 citizens: the monarch himself, the queen, his wife, and 2 prince heirs. For added legitimacy, Barros printed passports, with his, of course, bearing the number 1. After all, every dynasty has to start somewhere. Naturally, the kingdom's subjects were a bit stunned. But if a king has no army, navy, or gold reserves, he can at least hold all the posts at once: policeman, gardener, security guard, and just in case, the entire royal family rolled into one person. The island had once belonged to a wealthy British family who found the rock useless, probably because they preferred to live in houses with water and electricity. Barros, however, upon hearing about this lord at a party, suddenly decided, "Oh, this is my calling." He had no money. His business partners thought he was insane, and his family agreed, but he still sold his property and bought himself a chunk of granite with a cave. The first thing the freshly minted monarch did was embark on a diplomatic tour to the governess of Madeira. He introduced himself as the ruler of a neighboring state and, in response, was threatened with having his electricity cut off. Barons didn't flinch. He installed a solar panel, and voila, energy independence worthy of envy even from entire nations. So if you ever feel like becoming the head of a state, forget elections and revolutions. All you need to do is to find an unwanted rock, declare it a kingdom, and print yourself a passport. And that's it. You are a monarch. American scientists have made an important discovery that helps us better understand the characteristics of children with autism. A study conducted by a team of specialists led by Professor Eric Kochesner of the University of California, San Diego, showed that the brains of children with this condition contains more nerve cells than usual. The researchers examined tissue samples from the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for social interactions, decision making, and judgment. The results revealed that children with autism have on average 67% more neurons, and their brains are slightly larger than usual. These findings may explain many behavioral features of such children and suggest new directions and for future research. Importantly, this is not a cause for pessimism. On the contrary, the extra nerves can be viewed as a resource that scientists may eventually learn to harness to help children unlock their full potential. According to the researchers, such discoveries are key to developing more precise diagnostic methods and effective support programs for children and their families. This breakthrough is another step toward in understanding that autism is not only a challenge but also a unique way of brain functioning, which humanity is only beginning to truly study and appreciate. In the meanwhile, all we can do is to show empathy and provide support to people with autism, just as we should do to people with Down syndrome and other genetic conditions. Journalist, entrepreneur, and fighter with himself, Manish Sethi, came up with an unusual way to boost his productivity. He hired someone to slap him in the face whenever he opened Facebook instead of working. The role of disciplined body was taken by a girl named Kara. Her main duties were slaps, scoldings, and slight smacks, and for all this pleasure, she earned $8 an hour. In reality, her job looked something like that. Manish sits down to write, opens social media, gets a sharp slap, so he closes the tab and continues working. In the meanwhile, Kara checked his task list and did her own things on the side. In short, a perfect symbiosis. He got motivation and fresh cheeks. She got hourly pay. The experiment surprisingly turned out to be successful. According to the Rescue Time app, productivity jumped from a miserable 35% to nearly perfect 98%. Manish himself claimed it wasn't even the slaps that did it, but the fact that working became fun. Well, yes, who wouldn't be inspired by a friendly smack? We added an element of interaction, he explained. I was writing text asking Kara for advice, and if I couldn't come up with the right wordings, I'd get help or a slap across the cheek. Of course, not everyone is ready for such radical measures. But Sethi's lesson is simple. Sometimes to stop wasting time on social media, you don't need a website blocker app. You need a person with a quick hand and a sense of humor. What do you think about it? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts, my friends. Share them down in the comments. I'll be reading them all.